So we've got Ezin. It's a very slow start here on the hill, but Ezin will have a decent start off the grid. We've got David Final Form who will overtake Joe Baden. Ezin will have the inside line as we go down the hill. So we've got Ezin in first. We've got David Final Form in second. David Final Form with a better line out of that turn here. Ezin in first, David in second, and Plague will get an overtake there on Joe Baden. Joe Baden are already down to fourth on the grid from second. So we've got Sicarius there in fifth, got Nuke in sixth, and we've got a gap already before we get to Per Tacker, Tom Ford, Bouncy, Dryker, Staff Dog, Smishmosh, and then Noob School at the back of the grid. So we've got 2x2x2. David Final Form in first place, Ezin in second. Ezin had a good start, but he's already down to second place. David Final Form will be looking to escape before Joe Baden is released. Joe Baden had a very good race last time around, getting the win, had decent pace as well. Ezin got fourth position in the last race, looking for a better result this time around. So we've got David Final Form, Ezin, and Joe Baden. We've got a gap already before we get to Plague. Nuke and Sicarius are side by side. Looks like Nuke will be looking to get an overtake done as they go side by side down the start and finish straight. We're already on lap 4 of 36. Will Nuke complete this overtake? Ooh, he does very nicely there. Is he going to place his car in front, or is Sicarius have an opportunity to be on the inside into the next turn? Looks like Nuke will complete it for now. We'll just keep an eye on this as they get up the uphill right-hander. Looks like Nuke has it for now, but Sicarius does switch it around. He's going to try and get on the right-hand side before they get into the last turn. Looks like Nuke is holding on here. Looks like he'll have decent acceleration as we go down the start and finish. We'll just see. Nuke has been trying to complete this overtake for a full lap now, but Sicarius is still there, side by side. This is a battle for 5th and 6th position. We're just going to keep an eye on 1, 2, and 3 up ahead there as well. But it looks like Nuke has finally completed that overtake. We'll just see what happens here into the uphill right-hander. Goes a little bit wide again, which will allow Sicarius to get a bit closer. A little bit out of sorts there, and they will still stay side by side. Nuke on the left, Sicarius on the right as we go down the hill. All this is allowing the front runners to pull away, but Nuke has finally completed that overtake there. So here we are at the front of the grid. David Final Form in first, got a little bit of a gap now to Ezin in second place. Then we've got Joe Baden in third, Plague in fourth, Nuke in fifth, Sicarius in sixth, Pertaco seventh, Tom 4 in eighth, DJ Dryker in 9th, and Bouncy, that'll be your top 10. Seen some good racing in this first race, and also now in the second race. Nuke and Sicarius are providing the entertainment. Looks like Sicarius will try once again to make that overtake, and he will get it done into 5th position. We will now hopefully get some idea of what Sicarius' pace is like. I've heard he's a very quick Donny. And we'll see if he could start making his way towards a Plague there in 4th position. It's like David Final Form has been caught up here by Ezin. Joe Baden in close company. The top 3 pulling away from Plague in 4th. So there is your top 3. Plague in 4th. Then we've got Sicarius trying to build a gap over Nuke. Then we've got a bunch here of Pertaco, Tom Ford, Dryker, Bouncy, and Staff Dog. Then we've got Smishmosh Smash and Noob School having a close battle there at the back of the grid. Here is your top 3. Ezin in the first race, looking very, very quick in practice and qualifying. Had an incident that dropped in to the back of the grid, climbed back up to 4th position, and he's having a decent race so far. David Final Form got second in the first race of the evening, now in first place. Joe Baden, after a runner away in first place, currently in 3rd, but we all know he has the pace. Is he just going to bide his time here to see what happens with David Final Form and Ezin? Or is this his current pace right now? Ooh, David Final Form and Ezin. Ezin on the left, David Final Form on the right. Ezin will have to look for an opportunity here or a gap to overtake. He's going to keep going down there on the left. But David Final Form will hold on for now. But all this is allowing Joe Baden to catch up. Who is this? Smishmosh Smash looks like he has had some kind of incident. Already nearly a lap down to these guys. Joe Baden now looking to overtake Ezin for 2nd position. He's going to be on the outside into this turn, so Ezin will hold on for now, but Joe Baden will try and keep his bumper just enough there so he can try and get the overtake done through this turn. the downhill right. All this is allowing David Final Form to pull away. Joe Burden, nicely done, keeps it nice and clean. He will place his car in front of Ezin and he will claim second position. Now with David Final Form in his sights and about a second gap between them. Any battles between David Final Form and Joe Burden will allow Ezin to have opportunities, I'm sure, not even at the halfway stage of this race. David Final Form in first, Joe Burden in second, Ezin in third, and we've got Plague on his own there in fourth, Sicarius in fifth, Nuke in sixth. We've got side by side here with Tom 4 and Pertacker. Tom 4 ahead for now. Pertacker is going to go side by side. DJ Dryker and Bouncy in close company, but Bouncy ahead. Pertacker ahead of this train at the moment, and Tom 4 goes flipping. So does DJ Dryker, and they'll both have to hit a reset there. So we've got David Final Form in first. A bit of a, got a larger gap here between David Final Form, Ezin and Joe Burden. Ezin at some point has got an overtake on Joe Burden once again, so they'll be battling again for second place. Joe Burden on the inside into the final 10. They'll go side by side through the start and finish as they go up the hill. Ezin now back up into second place. David Final Form probably has about 2.5 seconds over these guys now. See there up ahead, about 2.5 seconds as we get to an end of a straight. Smish Mosh Smash is a lap behind. He will allow the leaders to overtake. Joe Burden looking for a different line here to overtake Ezin. He'll get a lot of speed on entry there on Ezin. You saw him line that one up there. He got a lot more speed there on the entry to the corner. And he will get another overtake on Ezin, but will Ezin get it back on him once again? These two having a brilliant battle. All this is just allowing David Final Form to settle into his pace and build a gap between second and third. We've got Plague now joining in the battle for second and third as well. Is there anything he can do to get himself a podium position here? Then we've got Sicarius and Nuke, a similar gap between them two. Then we've got Pertacker and Bouncy. The train of four is now a two-man battle. Bouncy get a nice overtake there on Pertacker. Bouncy having a good race last time around, looking for consistent results this evening. After both of them flipping, DJ Dryker and Tom 4 are on a recovery drive. They're behind Staff Dog there. Let's get back on this second, third and fourth battle. Joe Burden, Ezin and Plague. 2, 3, 4 in the picture there. David Final Form has cleared everyone in first place. While everyone is battling, he is just settling down as we reach the halfway stage of this race. He will be hoping that Joe Burden doesn't get too free from Ezin, but it looks like on this lap 16 of 36, he's further away from Ezin than he has been before in this race, so he can start building his own pace down, making his way towards David Final Form. Is this gap too big for him to catch up? Both of them very quick, very consistent. Has Joe Burden got the time to catch up to David Final Form? Plague there in fourth place, Sicarius in fifth. Then we've got Nuke in sixth place. Ezin not letting Joe Burden go. They're both on a similar pace right now. Ezin on a 34.093. One of the quickest times we've seen this evening. Seems like the pressure is getting to some of these guys in qualification. We're not really seeing the zeros when it comes to the race. And now that them two have settled into their pace, Plague has been left on his own once again. Sicarius had a good overtake on Nuke earlier on, and he's slowly pulling away from him. There in fifth position. Looks like Ezin is closer again to Joe Burden. Joe Burden on my screen slightly hit the wall there as they reached the uphill right-hander. Not sure how much that would have slowed him down. Ezin looking for an opportunity to overtake here. Nothing to do there. No gaps really through the uphill right-hander as we go down the hill. Joe Burden will keep it nice and tight. Smish Smosh Smash. Looks like he has retired. Got Noob School back marker there. Hopefully he will allow the leaders to overtake nice and clean. So we've got David final form in first, Joe Baird in second, and we've got Ezin in third. We've got Plague here in fourth place, Sakaris in fifth, Nuke in sixth. Then we've got Bouncy in seventh, Pertaco in eighth place. We've got Tom 4 in ninth, and Staff Dog, that is your top 10. DJ Draco there in 11th position. Looks like the gap has got a little bit closer to David final form and Joe Bairden. But they are on lap 20 of 36. We are past the halfway stage now. Are Joe Bairden and Ezin going to start working together? They'll both really want the win here, but they are likely not to get it if they battle each other. So maybe Ezin will just allow Joe Bairden to get into his rhythm. Ezin will keep there in close company. And maybe towards the end of the race, they can start building their way towards David final form. It looks like they both definitely got the pace. Joe Bairden definitely closer every time we get to the final corner. He seems closer and closer to David final form than the previous lap. Joe Bairden has his sights set on the blue and orange car here at David final form. David final form got second earlier on in first at the moment. After the cars behind him started battling, he just settled into his pace, started running away. But the gap is getting smaller and smaller now. For first, second and third. Plague having a lonely race at the moment. So is Sakaris, so is Nuke. Got Bouncy, there's Noob School there. Bouncy looks like he's built a gap there over Pertaco. Tom 4 went flipping earlier on, so did DJ Draco. That put them out of a decent mid-pack position. So here is first, second and third in your picture. David final form, Ezin and Joe Bairden will ride on board for a lap with Ezin. Where is he? There he is. I'm already selected. So we'll see it for the point of view of Ezin. We'll just check some lap times now as well. We've got Ezin with a 34.093, 34.130 David final form, Sakaris 34.398, Pertaco 34.8, 34.7 sorry from Tom 4, Plague 34.3, Bouncy 34.6, 34.5 from Nuke, 34.102 from Joe Bairden, DJ Draco 34.7, Staff Dog 34.9, 35.7 from Noob School. Oh, DJ Draco looks like he hit the wall there on the start finish. And he's going to pull off the track there. I think he's going to DNF. Unlucky there, DJ Draco. He'll hit the wall, spin himself round, and he will DNF out of the race. Got David final form. Looks like the gap is staying similar between David final form and Joe Bairden in second place. Ezin still in close company to Joe Bairden. These two have been battling all race as we're about to enter the 26th of 36. We are racing here on the European Rallycross main circuit using the switchback. It's our first night of Revline ranking ELO races. Everyone is racing here to improve their rankings as we start building the ELO system in Revline. We've only got one race so far. IQ is the current leader in the ELO rankings. He has not participated so far tonight, but I'm sure he will plenty of times in the future. If you have a high ELO ranking, these racers will be looking to grab some of that from you. And over time, we'll get some idea of who the quick Donnies are. I think three of them are right here in your picture. David final form, Joe Bairden and Ezin. Joe Bairden so far not being out of the top three in any Revline race. Currently running in second place right now. David final form looks like he has found a decent pace where he can just hold that gap to Joe Bairden. these guys hot lapping right now? Is Ezin waiting for an opportunity on Joe Burden, or is this just his pace? There will be a mistake or two between one or two of these drivers. That marker's just up ahead. Hopefully they will follow the blue flag rules. Noob School will allow Staff Dog and Tom Ford to overtake. Ezin ever closer to Joe Burden. A little slight touch there on the rear panel. But it won't slow Joe Burden down too much. We'll see now if the back markers slow down any of the leaders. Joe Burden and Ezin will be hoping David Final Form will have a harder time to overtake him. But yeah, Joe Burden definitely closer now to David Final Form. They get so close to that wall. David Final Form almost touching it there. Ezin goes a little bit wide there. That'll slow him down. Joe Burden now with a bit of a gap here over Ezin. Similar gap between first, second and third. Yeah, Joe Burden definitely close to David Final Form now, about to enter the 30th lap of 36. Staff Dog moving out of the way, nicely done. So here is first, second and third. We'll come back to this battle. We've got Plague there in 4th place, Kaiffari in 5th, Nuke in 6th. Huge gap before we get to Pertaka and Bouncy. Bouncy got the overtake on Pertaka earlier on, but for one reason or another, Pertaka is now ahead of Bouncy, having a good battle here for 7th and 8th place. These two had a decent battle in the Revline Dals Bannon Mini Enduro. They were close together on the track for most of that event. Right, where is this lead battle? Need to keep an eye on it. David Final Form, Joe Burden, Ezin, your top 3. Just about 5 laps to go here. Joe Burden starting to pile on the pressure on David Final Form. He has found a rhythm and he's definitely got a pace advantage as we speak. David Final Form definitely not slow though. We'll see what his defense is like as Joe Burden gets ever closer. Lap 31 of 36 now. David Final Form and Joe Burden both from the Equals Bulb. Top 3 both all from the Equals band server. Good representation in our races tonight. The Wreckfest 2 Fast Boys racing here tonight. I did a Proving Grounds event in the Equals band server the other day. Raced with all these guys. Very fast Donnies indeed. Looking forward to many races with them in the future. David Final Form and Joe Burden so close now as we get to start finish. They got stuck on each other, but David Final Form out of that will get a little bit of a gap. They got kind of stuck on each other on the final turn. I think Joe Burden had to back out of that one as the Wreckfest physics were physicking and David Final Form couldn't move unless Joe Burden backed out of it. Everyone still on track though, no incident occurred. And we are back to racing, lap 32 of 36, top 3 in your picture, closer than ever. David Final Form, Joe Burden, Ezin. What can Joe Burden find here? Can he find a gap on the right of David Final Form? Not much of a gap there for him to do there. David Final Form keeps it nice and tight. Joe Burden will now look for something on the left. I saw him do this earlier on to Ezin. He found some speed there on the left-hand side. He doesn't cut across that time though. Ezin now with an opportunity to overtake, but nothing doing there. That David Final Form is safe for now. Ooh, Ezin gets very close to the barrier, and that's going to slow him a lot there. So it looks like he is out of the battle for first and second as we speak. We're on lap 34 of 36. Joe Burden and David Final Form. 2-car battle for the lead now. Unless something happens between these two that slows them down quite a lot. Looks like it's just these two as we get towards the finish. Joe Burden has got the line down to a T there on that downhill right-hand section. And it looks like David Final Form has entered the last lap of the race. Sorry, I was on board with Pertaka, but yeah, we're on the last lap of the race now with David Final Form and Joe Burden. Joe Burden, it's the last time he's going to enter all of these corners on this race, and he's not really close enough to do anything to David Final Form now. David Final Form just has to keep it nice and tidy, no mistakes. Keeps it nice and tight there, but Joe Bennett is close. The only opportunity now is to send into the final 10. Is he going to try it here? Looks like he is not. So it looks like David Final Form will get his first win in a Revline event. Good win there from David Final Form. And we've got Joe Bennett in second, Ezin in third. Plague will get fourth position. Looks like fifth will be Nuke. I'm not sure what happens to Sicarius. I think Nuke is allowing Sicarius to have the position there. I'm not sure what happened there, but Nuke having some racing respect there will allow Sicarius the position. Looks like Bouncy will win the battle between him and Pertaka. And we've got Tom 4 about to cross the line as well. Good racing from everyone there. That top 3 battle was very intense indeed, but David Final Form gets the win that time around. Joe Bennett in second and Ezin in third place. Good racing, good racing. Only halfway done of the races tonight. Got 2 more of these left. I will put the practice laps back on. And if you are here for the 3rd race of the night, you are more than welcome to start practicing for that one. Good win there from David Final Form. Joe Bennett in second. Ezin is your top 3.